Hey everybody, Tyson Galand here. Today I'm excited to announce the Exo Bridge. This is an add-on support system for the Steadicam Exovest. It maintains a similar feel of the Exovest while unlocking a whole new level of support. This will allow the vest to not only adapt to the shape of your body, but with the payloads and the type of shots you're going to be performing on the day. To give you an idea of how the whole system works, I'm going to break down each of the main components. And starting off here, is the center pad. This pad is mounted right in between the two hip pads of the Exovest, and it helps distribute the pressure that you feel there in between your hips and your core. So each kit comes with 4 pieces of foam, which is an EVA, 2 medium, and a low density piece of foam. You can fit up to 3 of them inside of the center pad. So this allows you to control how much pressure you feel right there that works best for you. Moving on over to the upper back of the Exo Bridge are these single pads. So these get stacked from the lumbar all the way up to the upper back pad of the Exovest. Depending on your rod height will depend on how many of these are included in your kit. And like the center pad, you can adjust the foam density to find the right amount of pressure for a particular spot. So for example, if I were to feel the most amount of pressure in this upper single pad and the least amount of pressure on this lowest pad. So these are examples of the foam inside of them, which each of them come with a low, medium, and EVA piece of foam. I would essentially take the medium out of this top one, and then take the medium out of this bottom one, and I would just swap the foam around. And now I have 2 lows and an EVA at the top, and 2 mediums and an EVA on the bottom. And this is going to create a much smoother transition and allow me to control the pressure I feel in any given area. And last but not least is the lumbar pad. And this truly changes how this vest supports you. Now, every lumbar pad comes with a low, medium, and EVA piece of foam. Now, the back of the EVA is the air bladder assembly. So, as the air bladder expands, this plate is here to help bend the foam so that it doesn't completely collapse when your back is up against it. And the air bladder is positioned here to specifically target your lumbar. Now, everybody has a different curve to their lower back. So to accompany that, there is a variation where you can invert the air bladder, which will just target your lower back in a different way. So this variation gives you the control to find the right spot where the air bladder can give you the right amount of pressure and support for your lower back. And from there, the air bladder tube can exit from either 2 holes at the top or 2 on the bottom. And so that depends if the air bladder is inverted or upright and if you're regular or goofy. And as you can see, the tube will exit and the air release valve is mounted right here on the hip pad, right next to the socket block. And to help you understand more of why the air release valve system is accessible here, we have to transition to me in the rig. Now, the way to adjust the pressure of the Exo Bridge is to actually be wearing the vest under load. So currently I have everything tuned and I have no air in the air bladder currently. And if I stand here in the missionary position and I extend the rig slightly away from me, I can feel more pressure in my upper back and less support in my lumbar. So in this position, I give the pump a few squeezes, and I'm doing this until I feel the pressure even out from my upper back to my lower back. From here, I'll return back to the missionary position and assess how the vest feels. So now I feel this even amount of support going up and down my entire spine. So depending on the payload of what you're going to be flying will determine on how much pressure you add to the air bladder. In addition, depending on the type of shot you perform will determine on how much pressure you use in the air bladder too. So for example, if I flip this rig over to low mode, I now have the center of gravity of the rig lower and away from my body. And again, I can feel that excess pressure in my upper back and that lack of support in my lumbar. So here, yet again, I'll add more pressure to the air bladder. And now I have evened out that support yet again on my upper back down to my lower back. So this is why keeping the pump accessible on the Exo Bridge, it allows you to adapt and fit the vest to your body no matter what you deal with on set. One last thing I want to mention before I end this video is a variation option you can do with the Exo Bridge, and that is with using both the booster pads that come with the Exovest. Now, I've always ever used one booster pad for the entire time I've worn the Exovest, but Through testing with other operators and myself, we have found that by using dual boosters, you create a much more even distribution of support going from the lumbar all the way to the upper back of the Exovest. And this particularly seems to really help with heavier payloads and long operating times for things like broadcast. So if you ever get a chance to try the Exo Bridge, I highly recommend trying it with both boosters and a really heavy rig, because it has truly changed how I wear this vest on a regular basis. Beyond the support that the Exo Bridge provides me, I've also noticed that I have more control over my Steadicam shots. I hope that every Exovest user gets to try this design out. If you're ever in LA, please let me know. I'd love for you to try it. If you have any other questions, please let me know. And thanks for watching.